going to keep point guard Goran Dragic around, 2-year deal. He's 34. This will be his 7th season in Miami. Averaged 16.2 points while playing off the bench in the regular season. Started in the playoffs, helped drive Miami to the finals before he had a foot injury. They're also going to keep Miles Leonard. De'Aaron Fox is staying in Sacramento. 5-year max extension. Max, $163 million. That's a lot of zeros and commas. Fox was one of 5 players to average 25 points, 50% shooting in the bubble. Woj is here, and he tells us Danilo Gallinari is signing a 3-year, $61.5 million contract to join the Hawks. So he's out of OKC. Gallinari made 148 catch-and-shoot three-pointers last season. That was 6th most in the league. 6th man of the year, Montrezl Harrell agreed to a 2-year deal. Lakers. Harrell averaged 14.8 points per game last season, 4th most in the league, only behind Giannis, Zion, and Westbrook. So the Lakers, just they kind of raid the other locker room. Other folks, Dwight Howard out of L.A., 1-year deal with the Sixers. Mason Plumlee, 3-year deal with the Pistons. Derek Favors going back to Utah. Players that stay put, Jordan Clarkson, 4 years, $52 million with the Jazz. Rodney Hood, Portland for 2 years. Joe Harris back in the Nets, 4 years. And then these come even late since we last visited with Woj an hour ago. Christian Wood headed to Houston. David Bertans against a 5-year, $80 million with the Wizards. And just when you think we've covered it all, we bring in Woj and no, we haven't covered it all. Harrell leaves the Clippers, but they keep one, and you say that's important. What do you got for us?
Marcus Morris stays with the Clippers, 4 years, $62 million, I'm told. And that was a big offseason priority for the Clippers. You remember they traded, gave up a first-round pick to the Knicks in February, played well for them in the bubble. Now he gets a big payday that he had been looking for in the marketplace. His twin brother, Markieff Morris, is still a free agent. He's out there. He finished up with the Lakers last year.
All right. Other big names out there, obviously. Anthony Davis, we'll get to him in a second because he's really not going anywhere. It's just how we're going to do things. But Danilo Gallinari leaving Oklahoma City and going to Atlanta somehow impacts what happens with Gordon Hayward.
Well, that's one team off the board for Hayward, more than likely. But listen, Hayward could still go back to Boston. He could negotiate a new deal with the Celtics. He opted out. He can go back there. You know, there's been sign and trade talks with the Pacers, a number of other teams out there. The Knicks have had interest in Hayward. I think his market is still, it's still fluid, and there's a lot of interest in Hayward. And the sign and trade scenario may be, if he does leave Boston, how it goes.
Do we know what kind of price range he's looking in?
Well, he opted out of $34 million.
Right. That's why I asked.
What Hayward is looking for is a long-term deal. He went to Boston on that 4-year max deal from Utah. And so whether he goes back to Boston on a deal or gets a sign and trade somewhere else where he gets those years and that money back.
All right, I'm looking right now. It's 11:10. How much more stuff can happen tonight?
Oh, I think there'll be a lot. I think the deals are going to keep coming. I think you're seeing a lot of agents in this marketplace taking what's there, not trying to wait out this marketplace. If there's deals on the table, you're seeing them take them and message to all those young players out there, practice shooting the ball. Davis Bertans, $80 million. Joe Harris, $75 million. It pays to be able to make a three.
I was going to say, is that just league-wide change with everybody shooting? We've moved everything out, and now we see 53 points attempts a game, and it's just that simple.
It's the most important skill in the league. And when you're playing with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in Brooklyn and the kind of attention they draw on defense, Joe Harris is getting a lot of open shots, and that's a guy who's going to make a lot of them.
Now we move back to AD, Anthony Davis, because he's the biggest name out there, and yet he's sort of not really out there because nobody expects him to leave the Lakers. So what's the buy play here?
He's going to return to the Lakers. It's a question of the kind of deal he does, the length of a deal. He's going to spend really probably at least the next week working through that. He gets a new teammate tonight. Montrezl Harrell leaves the Clippers. I'm told by his agent, Rich Paul's going to the Lakers.
Right.
2 years, $19 million, essentially their mid-level exception. He takes Dwight Howard's spot. Dwight went to play for Doc Rivers in Philly on a 1-year minimum deal.
That's Woj up to the minute, which doesn't mean he's done, and we're here up until midnight. So if something happens, stick close because we'll bring you back.
Thanks, John.
There it is.
There it is. Hey, when the Raptors open the next NBA season, not only will they not be playing in front of their home fans, they won't even be playing in their home arena. The organization announcing today that due to the COVID-19 restrictions in Canada, the team will tip off the season in Tampa, Florida, with games set for the same arena where the Stanley Cup champion Lightning play. Raptors president Masai Ujiri had this to say about going from Toronto to Tampa. Quote, ultimately, the current public health situation facing Canadians, combined with the urgent need to determine where we will play, means that we will begin our 2020-21 season in Tampa, Florida. So we'll be away from our home and our fans for now. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. I'm not sure that's possible for us. We love Toronto and Canada, and we know we have the best fans in the NBA. For now, I'll ask you to cheer for us from afar, and we'll look forward to the day we can all be together again.
NBA free agency has started. Got to get yourself some players. Blazers trade with the Celtics, get Enes Kanter back in Portland. Three-way deal that also includes the Grizzlies. Memphis gets Mario Hezonja and the 30th pick from the draft the other night, Desmond Bane. So he's got a future Grizz draft pick, Kanter. Key late ad in Portland, 2019 when they went to the Western Conference Finals. The draft not involved here. The Heat keep their own. Point guard Goran Dragic signs a 2-year deal. He's 34, going to have a 7th season in Miami. Averaged 16 points while playing off the bench during the regular season a year ago. Helped drive Miami to the NBA Finals before suffering a foot injury. But keep Miles Leonard around as well. De'Aaron Fox staying in Sacramento. He agreed to a 5-year max extension worth at least $163 million. Fox was one of 5 players to average 25 points on 50% shooting in the bubble. My guess is, Mike, Kentucky's Alumni Association is going to reach out to him. According to Adrian Woj, who's sitting right here, Danilo Gallinari signing a 3-year, $61.5 million contract to join the Hawks, going to leave OKC. Gallinari made 148 catch and shoot three-pointers last season. That was 6th best in the league. And then this one just breaking, 6th man of the year. Of course, he's a Clipper. Montrezl Harrell agrees to a 2-year deal with the Lakers, going across town. He's playing in the same building, actually. Harrell averaged 14.8 points per game last season, which was the 4th most in the league, behind only Giannis, Zion, and Russell Westbrook. There are plenty of other players on the move. Dwight Howard has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Sixers. He just keeps bouncing around the league. Mason Plumlee headed to the Pistons, 3-year deal. Derek Favors, he's going back to Utah. After some players staying put, Jordan Clarkson, Mizzou, agreed to a 4-year deal worth $52 million to stay with the Jazz. Rodney Hood staying put in Portland. That's also a 2-year deal. And Joe Harris is back with the Nets, and he's hooked up on his contract for 4 years. All right, Woj is here, scheduled for 3 minutes and 45 seconds, which would be the longest you've stayed off your phone in how long? Like 4 days?
Yeah, about that.
We'll see if that holds. Let's start with Danilo Gallinari finalizing his agreement with the Hawks, okay? Does that impact, or how does it, with where Gordon Hayward's going to land?
Well, it's certainly a team off the board for Gordon Hayward. They did have interest in him. Gallinari is a great pickup for the Hawks. That's a young team, a really good young core led by Trae Young. They want to get closer to the playoffs. And Gallinari, coming off a very good year in Oklahoma City, is there. And you're seeing teams like that. Some of these younger teams with cap space going out and trying to improve themselves. Detroit has made a series of moves tonight.
Does OKC even have any players left? I mean, they keep flipping guys leaving free. I mean, they have all those picks, but they don't have them all here in the next day and a half. Free agency tonight, because we got all these things came in the last 3 hours. How busy is it? Where's the buzz tonight?
Well, you're seeing a lot of deals. This is a depressed marketplace. You've got ownership that and who don't have fans. You're seeing, I think, a lot of agents taking offers that are there on the table, but you're seeing a great premium on shooting. Joe Harris, 4 years, $75 million to return with Kyrie, KD. Davis Bertans in Washington, solidifying his role next to Bradley Beal. 5 years, $80 million. And obviously Gallinari, 61. There's a premium on shooting right now, and you see it with those players.
See folks getting picked here and here. Is there anybody, is there a Jenga piece? Is there a domino here they're waiting for fall that might change a bunch of stuff? Because from the depressed market, it doesn't sound like maybe they're that guy, but what do we see?
Yeah, this is not going to be a free agency where you're going to see a lot of impact players changing teams. It's Christian Wood going to Houston, just reported 3 years, $41 million from Chicago, or from Detroit, excuse me. Montrezl Harrell going to the Lakers, 2 years, $19 million. So he goes from the Clippers to the Lakers when Dwight Howard left for Philly. And now Anthony Davis with the Lakers, who's going to take some time deciding the kind of deal he's going to do, the length of the deal. He can do a 2+1 that would align him with LeBron James contractually. He may not decide until at least after Thanksgiving.
So AD certainly out there. That's the one everybody is watching, although they don't expect him really
He's
to move.
not going anywhere.
And then real quick, with the Nets, because the James Harden thing's floating out there, I don't know that necessarily they've talked about it, but everybody else has, as they do things. We watch, you mentioned Joe Harris gets signed. Landry Shamet gets traded for. Do we know that they're stockpiling other pieces, or is this just like, no, these are guys on our team?
Yeah, they talked early, over a week ago with Houston. Not very substantive talks. Houston's not shown a desire right now to really want to move quickly on James Harden. Joe Harris was the offseason priority for Sean Marks in Brooklyn. He gets that $75 million deal. They bring Landry Shamet in, and we'll see. There's still more moves to be made in Brooklyn, but they're focused now on just having those complimentary guys around.